Hello and welcome back to the NUFC Opinion Blog for another fan feature interview. Today I'm joined by my good friend Matthew Seager Rooke. Matthew, how are you?
I'm very well, Daniel. Yourself?
Absolutely fine, just coping, we all are. So, firstly, Matthew, the news has broken today that Allan, Saint-Maximin and Miguel Almiron are both out until at least April. How badly do you think that them not being in the side will impact us over the next few key games?
I think to be honest, the way Almiron has been playing, I think the system we've been playing suits Almiron to a T, and especially the way he presses, that he sets the stall out for the team. I think he's more of a miss for me than Saint-Maximin is. But then with Saint-Maximin is one of the only players who can sort of create something from nothing. So we're now going to have to ask the likes of Murphy and Fraser to step up, and now it's really time for them to prove themselves. Murphy's out of contract come the summer. He's got to really do something to warrant a new contract. Fraser hasn't really done anything, but I don't really think he has been given the chance by Bruce. For me, Bruce just sort of leaves him in for a game. He does okay, and then he takes him out. He doesn't give anybody a chance in the team. But I think now, especially with them two out, we've got to change the system.
Yeah, no, I think as well. I think Jacob Murphy and Ryan Fraser, they can both put in a good ball, but I think certainly Almiron and Maximin have been fantastic of late.
Yeah, but the thing is, he plays Murphy, and then he doesn't play Carroll. And if you're going to play Murphy, who will put a ball in the box, you've got to play Carroll, but you'd rather play Gale up there. And Gale doesn't want to get in the box. Joe Linton doesn't want to get in the box, whereas Carroll gets in the box, and you need somebody up there with him.
Of course, we face West Brom, Villa, and Brighton this month. How many points do you see us picking up?
To be honest, I think the only 3 points I can see is Brighton. West Brom, always a difficult team, especially with the way Big Sam has them playing. Well organised, hard to break down. And I just think we're missing Almiron to Maximin. That it's going to take a couple of games for it to sort of get set, and that Villa, again, they're a really, really good side from where they were last season. The amount of improvements they've had has been absolutely massive. And Dean Smith has them playing the right way. And they haven't really, I always thought Villa didn't have the best players, but they've got the best system. And it gets the best out of the players, whereas we didn't. Brighton have so many chances, they can't score. And Brighton are one of these teams now, you sort of get sick of seeing them in the Premier League, a bit like a Palace. And you sort of do want them. I want them really to go down this season. They're not really that exciting to watch. They're just possession-based football.
They do. I mean, they create a lot of chances, but they don't put the ball in the net.
No, and it's a bit like us at the moment. We can't score.
They don't have a striker. I mean, we do, but he's out injured.
Oh no, that's the only thing I can see it probably being a 1-0 that one. But they'll all be tight games. I think there'll only be a goal in it, really, from all of them.
With all that being said, obviously there's a lot of speculation on the club at the minute, whether we'll stay up, whether we won't. Do you actually think we'll stay up?
I do think we'll stay up. I think Fulham have got to really start bettering our results now. But then I think the likes of Burnley, Brighton are getting dragged into it now.
Even Southampton are in free fall.
Yeah, Southampton are in free fall. They've been playing awful. They were lucky against us, I have to say. I thought they did play quite well. I think that Minamino that we've got, a good player, never really given a chance by Liverpool.
No.
But I just think with the likes of sort of Shelby, on his day can unpick a defence. But when he's not on his day, he's awful.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have had his day for a little while.
Yeah, and I just think with the likes of Saint-Maximin, Almiron, it's going to be touch and go now.
Yeah.
But I do honestly think we will stay up.
Well, that's positive. I like to hear that. Moving on to some better times, some better memories. Can you remember your earliest memory supporting Newcastle?
Well, my first game was against Middlesbrough. It was a 1-1 draw. Michael Owen scored, and then Robert Huth got a late equaliser. That was right up in level 7. The gods. Couldn't really say anything. But that's the earliest memory that I had of Newcastle. And then, well, my first away game I remember was at Wigan when the McManaman challenge on Haidara.
Oh yeah.
And there was 4,000 of fans there that day, and it was just the worst tackle, and the referee didn't even do anything about it.
I remember it well. I was watching it on TV at the time. Do you have a favourite game that you've been to, whether it be home or away?
Probably the 5-1 Sunderland. I've never seen anything like that. That Newcastle performance that day was exceptional. But you see, that was a team that we had where we didn't necessarily have the best players in it, but everybody would fight and they would give 100%. And that's sort of what I think we're missing now. We had a team where everybody would put a shift in now, which just seems as though half of them put a shift in.
Certainly, you'd think that the squad right now is good enough to stay up, but it's just whether they can gel together, because at times they all seem a little bit disjointed and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I think that comes from the management, though.
No, certainly.
Especially, say, with Kraft. He puts him in for a game and then he was taking him out, and you think, just give him a chance to have a run in the team. You can't pick form up after one game. And I just think that comes down to bad management, really, from Bruce.
Do you have a favourite ever Newcastle player, someone that you've idolised during your time supporting the club?
Probably Czech Diote, to be honest. Just a brick wall.
Yeah.
Couldn't get past him. Fair enough, he would make a few mistakes, dilly-dallying on the ball, but he was somebody who, every time he pulled on that Newcastle shirt, you knew what you were getting.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just on another level. He could have went and played for any of the top sort of 6 teams and wouldn't have looked out of place with what he did. So, yeah, and he was just exceptional.
Mm-hmm. And finally, just to wrap things up a little bit, what are your hopes? I know it's a big question, this, but what are your hopes for the future with regards to Newcastle United?
Sort of not challenging at the top, but at least every season being competitive. I think you've got to be realistic. Whether this takeover does go through, doesn't, I don't really think it matters. We just need to see a team who comes out every week and gives 100%. If they don't give 100%, then that's when the fans get on the back. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what level we're playing at. If we get beaten, you see the players putting in 100%, they're still going to get applauded off the pitch because at least they've gone for it. See whether, I think with Ashley, we could have had a lot worse, especially with the Cardiff owner when he first came in.
And then you had
and then you had the Blackburn owner, the Venkies, when they just destroyed the football. I don't honestly think we've had it that bad under Ashley. Fair enough, we've had relegations, but we could have had a hell of a lot worse. And I just think, sort of for the future, we just need a team who just goes out every weekend. You're proud to watch, because at the minute you're not proud to watch the football that's getting played out. And you can just, the players aren't 100% into it. There's a couple like you're saying, you think, I'm sorry, you wouldn't be getting another contract if you want a year deal.
So if we do stay up this season, as you say we will, what do we do? What's the plan? Do we keep Steve Bruce, or do we try and find someone new? Does a takeover go through? Does it not? If not,
I think so. If the takeover doesn't go through, I don't think you can keep Steve Bruce. We'll keep him till the end of the season, and then I think we'll have got to get somebody new in. I don't know who I would have in or anything, because at the start I wanted Gerrard, but Gerrard never come to somewhere like us. Frank Lampard, no, not for me. I just think we need somebody who can come in and grab the players by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
And get them playing a system which works rather than chopping and changing every game. At least now we've got a system that works. But whether it will continue with it, I would definitely sort of look after the Euros to get Roberto Martinez in.
That's an interesting show. I mean, obviously there's been calls for Eddie Howe as well, but you know whether he would come, I don't know.
The thing is, Eddie Howe, I personally think he'll go to Celtic. That's his sort of job. I think he would do well at Newcastle, but when he went down with Bournemouth, he didn't change his system. He just played the one way, and I think when they were in free fall, he didn't know what to do. So if that ever happens with us, we sort of want a manager who's been there and done it. Yeah. But then, see, if I did think the takeover was to go through, people are going, oh, get Rafa back. What difference is he going to make now to it? He done well, he was here. He didn't have any money, really. But I think we just need to get somebody new in who can sort of take the club forward. I think Rafa's had his time. He went to China. He didn't do anything there.
No.
I would love to see him back, but I honestly I don't think he would be the right fit at the moment, even if the takeover was to go through.
That's fair enough.
But it would be nice to see, obviously, the takeover go through and just to show a bit more sort of commitment towards the players and invest sort of in it, the team. Because you just look at some of the players that we've got, they should be performing better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of them are sort of dead meat, really. The likes of Miguel, is he really Premiership quality? No, he's a Championship striker that is getting a fortune to sit on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we could have a lot better sort of talent in. And if we want to go forward, you've got to sort of build the team around a couple of players and invest in them. But I don't think we will. I think we'll be the same time next year. We'll be in the same situation.
Oh, well. I mean, at least we're still in the Premier League, but it's not the best of thoughts. But that wraps it up. Matthew, thank you very much for chatting to me.
Yeah, no problem. That was a pleasure, Daniel.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it. For all you watching at home, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. And thank you all very much for watching. And how are the lads?